known for her insane speed and agility, with the ability to sprint at 62 km an hour. Incredible reflexes, immense tolerance for pain, and known as the team's rabbit due to her amazing baiting abilities. This is the story of Blue Team's Kelly-087. Kelly was born on the planet Imber in the Inner Colony on September the 21st, 2511. At the age of 6, she was singled out as being a physically and intellectually superior child by Catherine Halsey and was conscripted into the Spartan 2 program. When Retrieval Team Gamma came to abduct her, she managed to evade them for 7 hours, however eventually revealed herself after thinking it was a game for her birthday. She was taken to Reach and replaced with a Flash clone in her house. On Reach, she became a part of the Spartan 2 program. Kelly was teamed up with John 117 and Samo-34 on her first day of Spartan training during a drill. However, the team placed last due to their distinct lack of teamwork and were punished by not being allowed to eat later that night. However, the next day she showed her true speed running for a pulley lift. She ran twice as fast as both Sam and John, but only placed third. However, they became close friends that day. Later on, when the Spartans were having their heads shaved, Kelly stole the clippers being used to shave her head, and 3 soldiers had to aid the sergeant doing it to pin her down and shave her head. Kelly took part in many missions with the Spartans over the coming years, most importantly in the Chiron test station, an underwater mission on Emerald Cove, training in the Military Wilderness Training Preserve, and the Highland Mountains. During her Spartan 2 augmentation at the ONI medical facility, Kelly almost died and was one of the slowest to recover from them. After her long recovery, her incredible speed was augmented even further. John 117 said that her speed made her almost untouchable, and that no one could touch her if she didn't want them to. Kelly joined the other Spartans, John 117, Fred 104, Samo-34 and Linda 058 on their first mission to Eridanus 2 in 2525. They boarded the Leyden, a freighter associated with the Eridanus rebels, and infiltrated Eridanus Secundus and captured the leader of the Eridanus rebels, Colonel Robert Watts. Later on in 2525, she joined the remaining Spartans to the Damascus testing facility on Kaiseti to receive their new Mjolnir Mark IV armour. Only a few hours later she witnessed the true power of the Covenant, as Samo-34 was killed by them during the Battle of Kaiseti. Kelly, John 117 and Blue Team were sent to the planet Sicinius 4 in 2526 to search for survivors after the Covenant attack, specifically the attack on Corbulo Military Science Academy. Kelly and Fred aided John's extraction with cadets April Arensky, Thomas Lasky and Michael Sullivan as they escaped via Pelican. Kelly was designated Blue 2, part of John's team on Jericho 7 in 2535. Their mission was to kill 1,000 grunts to avenge the 105th Drop Jet Platoon. They failed this mission after 3 days of fighting and had to watch the planet being glassed by the Covenant. In 2544, Kelly joined 4 other Spartans, John 117, Fred 104, Solomon 069 and Arthur 079, in an ONI-led raid on the 3rd Fleet of Glorious Consequence to reclaim Catherine Halsey. They were successful and managed to get her back, however Solomon and Arthur were killed in action during the mission. In 2552, Kelly was sent to Sigma Octanus 4 and was designated Blue 2, part of John 117's Blue Team during the Battle of Sigma Octanus 4. The team carried a Havoc nuclear warhead to the city of Côte d'Azur, again however you'd pronounce that was controlled by the Covenant. They travelled through the sewage system and planted the nuke, then escaped via Pelican, boarded the UNSC Leviathan and returned to Reach. Kelly was aboard the Pillar of Autumn, and whilst preparing for a mission to capture a Prophet, the Covenant found Reach. She was then designated Red 2 and was part of Fred 104's Red Team. Their main mission was to defend the generators for the orbital MAC guns. The Pelican, Bravo 001, was shot down by Seraphs on its descent from the Autumn to Reach. Kelly and the Spartans were forced to jump from the Pelican, causing many to die and others, including Kelly, to get seriously injured. They regrouped to Orbital Defence Generator Facility A331 and received a transmission from Vice Admiral Danforth Whitcomb. Kelly was assigned to Team Alpha by Fred, with him and Joshua 029. They commandeered Banshees to a Covenant landing zone where Kelly dropped a Fury tactical nuke into the grav lift, destroying it. However, Joshua's Banshee was shot down and he was killed in action. Kelly and Fred retreated back to the facility as all of the Spartan Team Beta were killed and were forced to land. They fought a pair of hunters, won, and then commandeered wraiths and blasted their way back to Castle Base. They regrouped with Spartan Team Delta, however were unable to enter the base until Kelly thought to whisper Ollie Ollie Oxenfree, which acted as an all clear sign, granting them entry. Behind the door was Dr. Halsey, who the Spartan team were not aware was there. The injuries that Kelly sustained during the battle turned out to be life-threatening, almost killing her. She sustained a fever, low blood pressure caused by bleeding in her liver, and an entirely collapsed lung. Catherine Halsey mentioned how amazing it was that Kelly was even alive, let alone still fighting. Halsey gave the Spartans new Mjolnir parts for their armour. Kelly received improvements to her neural induction circuits, which gave her a better twitch response time and a speed boost. Briefly after the upgrades, the Covenant attacked and the base was destroyed, undergoing Operation White Glove, trapping the Spartans and Halsey in caves below the base. After multiple days, Fred found Forerunner caves which contained the Forerunner crystal. The crystal created a massive radiation spike, allowing the Covenant to triangulate their position, causing them to try and dig them out with a large gravity lift. The group retreated into another cave, blowing the entrance of the satchel charge. After the charge blew, two of the Spartans, Isaac and Vin, mysteriously disappeared, leaving Kelly, Fred, Will and Halsey trapped for several days. Eventually, John 117, Anton 044 and Danforth Whitcomb rescued them. During the escape, Kelly took a hit from a Hunter's Few rod gun whilst protecting Halsey, critically wounding her with burns on over 72% of her body, requiring dermocortic steroids to recover. The injured Kelly boarded a Spirit and was flown to the Ascendant Justice, a captured Covenant carrier ship. She took a while to heal and was sedated for a long time. Whilst sedated, Halsey brought her aboard the Beatrice, a private vessel of the rebel governor Jacob Giles. The ship entered slipspace and headed for Onyx. On the 3rd of November, Kelly and Halsey made it to Onyx and reunited with SCPO Mendez, Kelly's old teacher, and some of the remaining Spartan 2 and 3 soldiers. They crashed the Beatrice during landing, and shortly after, William 043, Linda 068 and Fred 104 arrived in the Shield World, and the team went on the offensive, destroying a Sentinel factory. Due to her immense speed and agility, Kelly acted as bait for the Onyx Sentinels, distracting them whilst the others took them out. They then teleported to the Core Room, which Mendez compared to Hell in Dante's Inferno. A Covenant army commanded by Fleet Master Varro Nar Mantacree arrived on the Shield World. They were held off by the Spartans. Whilst killing a group of elites in close quarters combat, a Hunter pair jumped Kelly, and Holly G003 and Willow 43 were killed saving her. Kelly, Halsey, Fred and Linda and the remaining Spartan 3s retreated through a slipspace portal. However, Kurto 51 stayed behind to detonate 2 Fenris nuclear warheads, killing himself but taking the entire Covenant army with him. On the other side of the portal, Kelly and the rest of the survivors became trapped in a micro-Dyson sphere. However, Lucy B091 managed to find engineers who helped them exit the sphere. After being rescued by the ONI Special Task Group Kilo 5, Kelly tried to prevent them and Captain Seren Osman from arresting Halsey. However, she ended up standing down. This is pretty much Kelly's story all the way up until Halo 5 Guardians, and I know I am definitely excited to finally see her in a game, especially fighting alongside the Chief and the rest of Blue Team. I'll be covering Linda's backstory in a future video coming soon, and we'll also be doing one of the members of Lock Squad when they get announced, along with one of the Master Chief if there's enough demand for it. So be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this and want to see more. Be sure to also like the video if you found it informative, as it took me a long time to edit, but if it helped you guys understand just how badass Kelly is, then I've done my job properly. Tell me in the comments below what you think of Kelly, and if there's anyone else specific you want me to do a video on. Thanks for watching and I'll see you guys in the next video.